gaseous exchange in bony fishes. Now, before we understand how fish carry out gaseous exchange, which is just simply the exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide gas. Gaseous exchange can also be it can also be seen as breathing. That's another way of breathing. Now, how does the bony fish carry out gaseous exchange in water? Remember, the main organ for gaseous exchange by bony fishes is what we call the gills. And for us to be able to understand how they carry out gaseous exchange, we need to understand the structure of the gills. I believe most of you have already looked at this structure when you bought your bar fish and then you had to observe the gills. You discover that in the gills, is divided into two parts. The first part downward is a bony structure, while the part upward is hairy, it's like hairs. This bony structure downward, we call it the gill arc, while the hair-like structures on it, we call them the gill filaments. Now take note, this bony structure helps to support these gill filaments, and gaseous exchange in bony fish takes place principally on the gill filament. Now there's another thing you are going to note. You discover that this gill filament is bright red in color. The reason for that bright red color is because of the presence of blood vessels or blood capillaries passing through the gill filament. Remember, blood capillaries are tubes that carry blood. So the presence of that tube carrying blood, it makes the filaments to look red in color. Now, this is what happens during a gaseous exchange in bony fishes. The first thing they do inside the water is that they close their operculum tight to their skin. And then when they close it tight to their skin, the next thing they do is they open their mouth for water to flow in. When they open their mouth, the buccal cavity of their mouth increases while the pressure inside their mouth drops. Buccal cavity is just simply the space inside the mouth. Look at, I'll open my mouth. That space that you see there is called the buccal cavity. Now, when they open their mouth, water flows into the mouth with force. Flows into the mouth, and then they closes that mouth. Immediately they close their mouth, the pressure inside their mouth will increase. That pressure now causes the water to flow over the gills of the fish. When the water flows over the gills of the fish, remember that water contains dissolved oxygen. As the water flows over the gills, oxygen in the water is going to diffuse and enter into the blood capillaries in the gills, while carbon dioxide inside the blood capillaries of the gills is going to diffuse into the water. So that simply means the blood capillaries will now contain oxygenated blood, while the water will now contain more of carbon dioxide. The reason is just simply because water is rich in more oxygen than carbon dioxide. And so, since it has more oxygen will move from the water into the blood capillaries. But the blood capillaries in the gills is rich in more carbon dioxide than oxygen. So, carbon dioxide will leave the blood capillaries into the water. This is what we call gaseous exchange, meaning exchange of gases. Now, as this happens, the operculum is going to open because of the force of the water. And as the operculum opens, the water that contains the carbon dioxide will flow out. This is what we call gaseous exchange. Now, take note, gaseous exchange occurs differently in other fishes like sharks. In bony fish, The bony fish has the ability to gain more oxygen from the water. The simple reason is because the direction of flow of water is opposite to the direction of flow of blood. Because of this opposite direction, it causes continuous supply of oxygen. But now in other fishes like the shark, since the direction of flow of water is the same as the direction of flow of blood, at a particular time, the oxygen and carbon dioxide gas, the quantity of oxygen and carbon dioxide gas in the water will be the same as the quantity of oxygen and carbon dioxide gas in the blood. And as such, because they are the same, there will be no movement of gas, there will be no flow of gas, and this is not good for the fish. So that is it for gaseous exchange in bony fishes. Thank you.